Can't hold it much longer. Gotta let go so I can be free.
Hey, spring training in Bradenton, Florida today. AJ and Kratz together for Pirates camp. How you guys feeling? Day 2? What's that? Oh, is that your Skeens card? Are you trying to get it autographed?
It's just Paul Skeens card.
You know, so we're in Bradenton here, and I've seen every person I believe on the Pirates except for one guy. It's the one guy I need.
He's like the Pope. He's like the Pope here,
Seriously,
I'll be honest. He is like the Pope.
He's got his own cart. He's got everything.
He goes in like different entrances to the field and stuff.
He's like you, Scott, at my house. I don't let you come in the regular.
I do have my own entrance. Yeah, I do have
try
a
to hide
special entrance. That door, that looks like it's just a bookshelf, and then I press the secret. Am I supposed to not give that away? Okay, never mind.
Don't tell them.
Don't tell them. Don't tell them. Hey, let's show the schedule, though. Some people are like, where are you guys going to be? The amount of texts and replies to social media. Are you going to be at this camp this day? Well, we have a calendar, at least for a week. We did Orioles camp. We're at Pirates camp. Wednesday, Yankees camp. Thursday, Cardinals camp. Friday, Mets camp. Say hi if you can get inside.
By the way, the Orioles were great except for the weather. I mean, Kratz and Mark came down here, and the weather went to holy crap. I mean, it's been beautiful. It's been like this every day. It's been like 70 degrees. These northerners come down, Scott, straight downhill.
Yes.
This is not how it's been at all.
No.
It's been very Syracuse.
It's been like
here.
this.
This is the first.
So right now I got to wear shades.
This is the first sun that we've seen, and it's nice. Like, there wasn't much redeeming value about Florida when it was raining, but now this sun, I'm glad we're here.
Yesterday.
Now, see, he talked about it, and the cloud's going to come over and take the sun away, right?
Was yesterday biblical rain, like the biblical losses that were experienced during the pandemic?
We tried to go to dinner last night, and it was biblical when I tried to go to dinner last night. But it was happy because it made Mark pay for one less because I didn't show up. So Mark was happy that he had to pay for one less.
Yeah, look up biblical losses.
He's such a liar. Biblical losses is what they experienced during COVID.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just Google that for the owners, for the billionaires. All right, let's hit some game action from yesterday. Can we see Jorge Soler go nuclear? The new DH for the Angels? Dude can swing it. We've seen some big swings from Jorge Soler in the past, and he better have a monster year because if Mike Trout gets hurt, I'm going to be very angry, Kratz. I would like to see him take up a good chunk of DH time. That's not going to happen. Soler's great, but they need him to be exceptional. There it is.
No rain in Arizona, and that ball still hasn't landed yet. But how many DHs do you need Trout to have? What if he's feeling good? Are you like, yeah? Because what if he's feeling good, and he's like, dude, I want to be out in right field. Oh, we got to hold you back. We need two. Is it 2 DHs a week? Is it 1 DH a week? And if that's the case, if all of a sudden he feels good, then you sit there and you go, crap. Now we don't have a DH. And I know teams say, oh, I can find DHs. You ain't just finding a Jorge Soler anywhere. I like the pickup. I'm more of in the boat of like, figure it out with more players that can bang the ball, but maybe 40 games with him in the outfield, you can survive. I know it's not awesome, but you can survive.
So you're saying 40 games with Soler in the outfield and Trout at DH?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, AJ, I wanted at least 50% Trout at DH. I've heard some people say they wanted Trout to DH the whole year just to stay healthy for a season and see if that would work.
Yeah, but you still got to run. You still got to hit the bait. You still got to do your work. You still got to run. It's not like you DH, you get a pinch runner. They're like, hold on, like in football, they tap their helmet. You know, we do that for ABS. In football, they tap their helmet, and they're like, I need to play off. It's like Mike Trout can get on first base and go, I need a pinch runner for me, guys. I mean, you still got to run. You still got to do things. And I honestly do believe moving to right field will help him stay healthier. Now, we'll see how many games that is for, but we need a healthy Mike Trout, not only for Anaheim, but also just for the game of baseball, because I want to see what he can do with another healthy year.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you. All right, let's look at the Mariners offense popping off. Get ready for it, Seattle. Ryan Divish posted their first few games of stats. I think most people that watch or listen to this show understand that spring training is an exhibition, so it doesn't really mean crap. But the Mariners have scored 33 runs on 41 hits over the last 3 games. They've committed 9 errors, probably could have been more, said Divish, and their pitchers have allowed 24 runs on 36 hits with 16 walks and 32 strikeouts. So if you overreact to spring training games, AJ, the Mariners pitching is going to suck and their offense is going to be best in baseball.
Spring training means this much right here.
Yep.
Not a single thing. Spring training doesn't mean a thing. The hitters, listen, Arizona, Kratz and I talked about this earlier. The wind is usually blowing out. The fields are harder than concrete. People lose pop-ups in the sky. There's more runs scored in Arizona. If you want a good bet the over in a lot of Arizona spring training games, because they'll put it at like 7 or 8, and over half the games are like 13-12, especially late when the games, some of the younger kids come up early in the games. I mean, these games get ugly at the end. So, listen, spring training to me means nothing. Great, they had 3 good games. I guarantee you can go find 3 games in the big league season last year where the Mariners scored 33 runs in 3 games. It means nothing. It's cool, but it means nothing.
Maybe not.
Well, I think
maybe not with that offense.
I think you could if they scored 10-12 in a game. 15 in a game.
But that offense. I mean, the offense out in Arizona, those stadiums are huge too. They're huge stadiums that you put young kids out there that haven't played much. They got to run the ball down. There's just a lot of hits. I think there's gonna be a lot of hits today too because the wind's blowing out, but. We'll ask the manager. To see if he see a lot of runs coming up today.
Let's do that. Let's get him ready. Derek Shelton's going to join FT Pirates skipper next on the show. Be right back.
Hair thinning is very common, very frustrating problem that many men deal with. From stress and nutrition to hormones to lifestyle, so many internal factors affect what you see on the outside. Luckily, Nutrafol is here to help.
Thinning hair is different for men and women, so a one-size-fits-all approach to their hair growth doesn't cut it. Nutrafol has multiple formulas for men and women that are tailored to different life stages and lifestyle factors.
Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand trusted by over 1.5 million people. See thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol.
Start your hair growth journey with Nutrafol for a limited time. Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code FOUL. Find out why over 4,500 healthcare professionals and stylists recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code FOUL.
Okay, so I have to ask this because they're in your division and it's recently been a story.
Okay.
So if the Orioles would have signed another shortstop this year, say I saw J.J. Hardy earlier. Right? And they said J.J.'s coming back.
He could still play out. We watched him take ground
That
balls
back
a little
is wrecked. There's no way.
His hands are still good.
They're there,
Hands are
yes.
still
But if they said J.J.'s coming back for your gunner, we need you to move to first.
Yeah,
Like the Red Sox situation.
right.
Gunner would say,
Okay.
okay. All right.
And you
I
would
think so.
No, because it's a weird situation.
It is
right?
a weird
'Cause
situation.
Devers been there, right? Bregman
Yeah.
comes in. They have Cassis, who's kind of the young guy, supposed to be.
Yeah.
So it kind of puts all 3 of them in a weird
It's tough.
situation.
I mean, I can't relate because nobody's ever asked me to sign a 10-year extension. But I would imagine if someone says, here's a bunch of money, we want you to be our third baseman for the next however long, it would be hard to have that taken away from you, 4 or 5 years into it or whatever. But at the same time,
You got what? Did he sign 300? You have 300 in the bank, though?
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think you got to do what the organization wants. I think you got to lean into the team guy situation. You're already making your money. You want your team to be as good as possible. That's kind of where I stand on that.
So you're saying if you guys could win a World Series, you'd move to left field?
I would move to left field tomorrow for
What about
any
catcher?
reason.
What about catcher?
That's tough. I don't think I would do that.
You would probably ride in the baño on the bus every single trip for a World Series
Just
championship.
give me a couple beers and, set me up in the bathroom. I'm fine.
All right, we're back. We're back here in Bradenton with the manager. It's still to me like when I say that about you, because I just remember when you were like the lowly hitting coach with the Rays,
Long
right?
time ago.
Then you meant bench coach. So Derek Shelton is here with us, manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates. What year is this for you?
Year 6. Yeah.
We had a conversation about this. So 2020 you took over?
2020 I took over. The
So
COVID year.
you came in and you brought COVID.
I brought in and came in and spring training stopped and it was great.
It was great.
It was great.
Lead a Zoom call.
Yeah.
Welcome,
Lead a Zoom call.
welcome
Does
to
anybody
managing.
want to?
Yeah.
Does anybody want to buy my hitting tool?
Oh, you still have that?
Yeah. I mean, we could.
You still
we
sell
could
that
sell
thing?
it,
What is
yeah.
that thing
It's
called?
The speed hitter.
I still have, it's the thing with the ball, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I
You
have
have one? You
I
have
do
one?
have one.
Yes,
I
know
think you
do.
gave it to me for free too.
I know you did.
Oh,
Yes,
of
I
course.
did.
You get something for free.
Wow, yeah, I forgot
take
about
care-
that.
take care
I
of
forgot
people.
about that, man. So what's the feel here in Pirates camp 2025? You guys got off to a hot start last year. Faded a little bit
Yeah.
towards the end, but what's the vibe here for 2025?
A really good vibe. I mean, a lot of energy, a lot of positivity. I mean, obviously built around our pitching staff, really good pitching staff, and I think that's kind of what we're leaning into.
How good can it be? How good can your pitching? I mean, you Skeens, look. By the way, can you get this signed for me?
Yeah.
I've been looking for him all day. Okay, so I just need him
Well,
to sign.
he's not easy to. I mean, you
No.
can find him. You can find him.
You
He's
can
a
find
big
him.
man. He's a big man.
But I haven't seen other than over there watching bullpens. I was in the locker room, didn't see him, so
Yeah.
it's fine. But Skeens, Keller, Jones, Chandler if he's there, Oviedo when he comes back, right?
Oviedo, Heaney, we just signed Heaney,
right?
Bailey Falter. So I think we're building a really deep pitching group. We have Thomas Harrington, also we have Solometo. So I think, as you guys know from the seats you used to sit in, that's the most important position in the field, and we're trying to build as much depth there as possible.
What about Chandler?
Chandler
What about
too,
Bubba
yeah.
Like you sit there. Are you told to not watch his outings because you hear about these like prospects and you see this youth and you're like, whoa, he's got great stuff, and they're like, can you bring him up too?
No, I think you get excited about it. I mean, we had Jones last year, the in spring training that was so good. Chandler we saw for the first time the other day in a major league spring training game. It's good. I mean, our pitching group has done a really good job of developing young arms, and you're not going to just need 5. You never go through a season with 5, and we want to make sure that we have as a deep a group as possible.
What about bullpen wise?
Bullpen wise, I mean, Bednar, Holderman, depending, we signed Ferguson, we're stretching him out at the beginning. We signed Majinski, we're stretching him out, and then we can kind of go off that. Dennis Santana, last year when we acquired him, I mean, you take away one outing where he gave up 4 runs. He ran out a sub-2 ERA, and our group did a really good job. I think we're trying to build as much depth as possible, but the back end of it, we added Meza. We have a left-hander, Baraki, if we can keep him healthy when, left on left, it's been really good. So it's probably a deeper group than we've had in the past couple of years.
Is Bednar the closer?
I
think that's what people want to know, right? Because he was the closer, was an all-star, had some struggles last year. Chapman was here, so now is he back to that role?
I don't think we're ready to say that, but I think we feel very good with the fact that we have a guy that was a 2-time all-star closer. And, he had a blip last year coming out of spring training. He had an abbreviated spring training, started off, struggled, and then was really good. I think, 18 saves at one point, and then struggled a little bit with his command. I think as we get through spring training, we'll have a better idea where the command's at, but fully expect him to bounce back. I mean, you don't sit in that spot and do the 9th inning for 2 years at the level that he did without being really talented.
Still in there.
Yes, it's in there.
Last year you said to us, you were like, you guys were hot, similar to the season before, and you said, we got some injuries. How do you look back at last year and the year before, how you guys started, and say, we have to do this year. We have to do that. We got to stay away from this. Like, how are you set up to not allow that to hopefully happen?
Yeah, that's a great point. I think 2 years ago, we finished really strong and played good the last 2 months. Last year, we played well. Take away, and it's a good chunk, take away 16 games starting at the end of July through the middle of August. And we ran into, and this is no excuse, but we ran into Arizona, San Diego, LA, San Diego, LA. And San Diego had just made those trades at the deadline. And in that stretch of games, I think we lost 11 in a row. So you stay away from that. And we lost 7 one-run games or 6 one-run games. So that's the thing. I think to AJ's point, you have to solidify a bullpen in those situations. We had leads in, I think, 4 of those games and ended up losing them. We have to make sure that our depth maintains that. You look at that stretch, we're 4 games over, we go 5-5 in that stretch. That completely changes the dynamic of the last month and a half.
Agreed. All right, so I got to ask this because we're talking pitching with you, and I showed you my Paul Skeens card. Is he on any load management this year? Because last year I was proud of y'all. Y'all let him go, and it was great. I mean, the year he ended up having was a historic type of run.
Right.
Can he do that for 30 starts this year?
I think our hope is yes. And I think one of the things that we were really adamant about as a group, and Ben and I especially, was like he made that last start in New York. I mean, it was 2 innings. You can say what you want. Okay, we kept him in 2 innings. I felt really strongly like he needed to take that mound and feel what prepare for that last start, because guys don't know what the length of the season is. To answer that question, I'm going to say yes, because the way he's built, the way he prepares, until you go through a 30-start season or a 32-start season, you don't know. But I think he is built to pitch that way.
What is the catching situation looking like because of the season that Joey had?
Joey's got to get the bulk. I mean, he's a guy that's going to start, pending health, and you never want to get that far ahead, but he deserves to start with the situation he had. And I think Joey's a testament of a guy that was in a different place, maybe needed a change of scenery, had made an adjustment in his swing. And sometimes that prospect hype comes, and it doesn't come as fast as everybody else in the baseball world wants. But last year it stuck. It was good. It was consistent. And then for that second spot, we have 3 guys. We have the 2 young kids in terms of Indy coming off the injury, and Henry very much in a similar situation to Joey, where everybody expected, okay, you're 1-1, you're going to jump on the scene. It's challenging to do. And then we have Jason DeLay, who can really catch and has done a good job for us. That spot will probably be one of the highly contested spots for us going up to the end of spring training. But leading into the season, Joey's the main guy.
What does that look like? What is the spring training? I know what it looks like as backup cat. We're talking about backup catcher, but just competition in general in spring, because we talked about it.
Yeah, competition in spring training for me, and you guys would know this better than I do, having been in that role. It's the hardest position to get at bats for, because early in camp you don't want to catch every day. You want to try to get your legs underneath you. But when you're trying to get 4 guys at bats, it becomes challenging. It becomes, people look into Henry started the first game and Indy caught the second. Don't look into that, because I needed both of them to catch 5 innings and 4 innings. So the fact that you have to catch the back half of the game. Right now, it's about getting reps. It's about seeing pitchers throw. It's about getting your legs underneath you, and it's one of those challenging things, because catchers are always the one that basically get screwed on at bats in terms of the volume. So we have to try to figure out as many ways to get at bats, but they also need to catch the main guys in your pitching staff.
Makes sense. All right. So, I mean, we talk pitching with you guys, and your pitching staff has got a chance to be special this year. How are you going to score runs?
I think that's the –
I mean, you're an old hitting coach.
Yeah, I know.
With an old hitting commercial. You and Tom Amansky and Fred McGriff are trying to sell the ball.
I had way better
stick.
hats. I had a better hat.
That's true. That's true.
I had a
world.
better hat than Freddie had on, the back-to-back.
Yeah, AAU national champions.
AAU national
I will
champions.
tell you that I used to give Freddie a ton of static about it, and then the commercial came out, and he abused me for about 3 years, which I appreciate. I think we're going to have to figure out our offensive identity. That's the biggest thing. I mean, we have Brian Reynolds, who was 5th in the National League in hits. We need Cruz to take that step forward. 2020 last year, keeping him on the field. A healthy Key Brian Hayes is huge for us. And I know you guys have only been here for a day, but that's probably the most encouraging sign. His back is in the best spot it's been in 3 or 4 years. And offensively, he's made a swing adjustment. That's something that, needs to hold up. Nick Gonzalez took a step forward last year. And then however we have to get creative in terms of how we score runs, but it's going to be probably doing things on the margins. We're going to have to make sure we execute.
I like it. What about you brought in Tommy Pham? What's he like? I played with Tommy when he first came up, so I've known Tommy for 10 plus years. But what's he like when you see him every day in there grinding at bats? What's he mean to this team?
Intensity. I think it's one of the things. We brought Adam Frazier back, who we knew here, he knew us. We brought him back into a leadership role. He's more of a utility guy now with where he's at in his career. But I think one of the things that we identified for Tommy, and honestly, we've tried to get Tommy for the last couple of years, because adding a guy like that into your clubhouse, and you played with him, all Tommy wants to do is win. Everything he thinks about on a daily basis is how we're going to win today. And when you have young players and you have a veteran guy, perfect example, yesterday, Paul Skeens throws a live BP because of the fact that we had the weather. We have bullpens that are going on in the cage. The first guy that goes in the cage to track is Tommy Pham. When you see a guy that's played that long, has that intensity, and you're a young player, you're like, damn, all right, this guy's doing that. I'm going to go in there and do that. That leadership by example is something that we felt was really important to add to our clubhouse.
What about all the coaches? I come to these spring. This is the second camp we've been to. Y'all have so many coaches. The Orioles have so many coaches. Do you feel like that waters down for the players as far as like, oh, this dude's talking to me? What is Shelton? Does that guy talking for the skipper for me? Like, do you feel like there's too many people around and it kind of muddles some of these younger guys?
I think you have to be.
brains?
It's very different. I mean, even from AJ likes to highlight how old I am, but even when I got to the big leagues, the hitting coach, we had no assistant. There was no.
And now you have.
Now you have three. So I think the one thing, especially in the hitting space, is today's players are needy. They like to hit. They need everything. So having hitting coaches in that space, I really feel we made a really good hire in Matt Haig, brought in our hitting situations in a good spot. It's all about the lead guy in that spot. If the lead guy in that spot communicates and is able to delegate to his group, then the message stays consistent. And then on when you bring in your minor league group, you have to make sure you're on the same page. And we're fortunate. Donnie Kelly's our bench coach. He does a really good job every morning of getting guys on the same page, because you can get muddled and the message can be lost. And you have to make sure that it's about the player and the player getting the right message. And I think the other thing that we all know is you guys had coaches that, you didn't relate to. A real good friend of ours, Greg Walker, who I think was one of the best hitting coaches for a long time in the big leagues. He will tell you, sometimes you don't relate to guys. Sometimes guys didn't relate to me as a hitting coach. So when you have a different group of guys, players are going to relate different. You have to make sure that you have different personalities for players to be able to relate.
Not everybody likes the ball on the stick. It just doesn't
No,
work.
everybody likes that.
It just doesn't work for everybody.
You got to make sure.
By the way, it's called the hits tracker.
Yeah, it's called the
speed hitter.
Speed hitter.
Please.
Speed hitter.
Yeah,
That's
please.
right.
Speed hitter.
That's right. All right. I got to go back to something you said. You mentioned Hayes is back. How bad was it? Because, obviously the Pirates aren't top of my follow list of teams, right? But how bad was it? I know he's missed some time with the last few years, but how much has that affected him over his?
It's affected him a ton. I think you go back to 2023. You look at June, you look at August and September, really good productive bat. He missed all of July because of a back injury. And then last year, only being on the field for 94 games, that affects us. We're talking about one of the premier defenders in the game. He changes the game defensively just in terms of how he reacts and handles third base. And when we've seen over the last couple of years, when he's healthy, he's a productive offensive player. Anytime, and I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know, but anytime you're doing a sport where you have to rotate or you have to torque, the back is in the center of that. And when you can't do that to full strength, it affects a lot of things that go on, whether it's the pitches you swing at, the pitches you don't swing at, just how you go about your day.
You guys made the move for Spencer Horwitz. Do you have any timeline for him, or is it kind of frustrating when you're like, okay, we made this move and he has a chronic wrist injury?
Yeah, well, frustrating with the fact that because he's a guy that we planned on getting a lot of at bats, especially versus right-handed pitching at first base. Right now, no timeline. It looks every day watching him in the training room, seeing the smile on his face. He's back taking ground balls now. Little things like that are working towards it. It's one of those things, because it has been a chronic issue, you don't want to rush it. We don't need to get him back on the field. And he's back on the field because we rushed him, and it's 2 weeks, and then we deal with it again. So I think listening to him, listening to how he reacts, and watching his volume of work is going to be the most important thing, because once he gets back, we need him to stay on the field.
We're talking about all these young guys. What about the old guy? Did you have Andrew McCutchen in a wheelchair when he came in to spring? Did you get him a walker to
Closer
walk
parking
in?
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Handicap spot out here.
He definitely gets the closest. When you got 15 plus years, you park wherever you want, as close as possible. I think the one thing with Kutch is the fact the consistency of the bats is something we talked about. Tommy Kutch still controls the zone at an elite level, as well as just about anybody I've ever been around. And then just having a guy back that's been in Pittsburgh. And it's important. He's been in Pittsburgh on the teams that were the last playoff teams, and it's important for our young guys to be able to feel that.
Yeah. But he's got to retire at some point. We were giving him grief. We're like, Kutch, man, it's time, bro. He's going to be 50 years old. He's going to have a beard like you. You're still going to be willing him out there to DH.
I'll tell you what, if he controls his zone the way he is, I think he's still going to continue to be a really productive player.
Agreed.
Like we talk about overexposure. You talk about a guy that controls his zone like that. Your eye never ages. Obviously, your eyes get worse, but AJ knows that. But is there a fear of overexposure for a guy like Kutch, or are you like, dude, if you can give us 600 at-bats, give us all 600 at-bats?
I think it's just a matter of how the body holds up. I mean, he is, 38, 39 years old. It's going to be conversations of management. I think the way I look at it with Kutch, and Kutch and I have talked about it in terms of conversations, is we need him to be the best version of Andrew McCutchen every day. So if that's a day off a week, 2 days off a week, however it is, so he's on the field, that's what we need. That's what we need to get from him.
Do you tell him that?
We talk about it. It's constant communications about, how your body feels, what your body's like. And as we get into the season, there's going to be stretches that are good days. There's going to be stretches that are bad days. It's just all about making sure that we have the conversation about how he feels.
Love it. That's the touching. Appreciate you.
No.
Thanks, Shelton.
Thanks for having me on.
My speed hitter is worn out. I need a new one.
You need a new one?
Thanks.
Are you still taking hacks?
Of course. Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I?
not.
You got any pictures I need to – I'll take a bat off Skeens. I ain't scared.
I'm not scared. He'd definitely get you out, though.
Oh, come on now.
You're going to swing. We know that.
Exactly.
We'll be right
Splinker's
back.
my bat speed, though. Are you kidding me?
Your bat speed's not 96, 97.
No, but Splinker.
That's 96,
Oh,
97.
that's right into my – that's perfect for me. Life comes at you fast. Make life easier and healthier with Green Chef. Stay on track, even on your busiest days, with options like salads, ready in 5 minutes or less, and ready to blend smoothies.
You'll get pre-made sauces, pre-portioned ingredients to enjoy restaurant-quality meals for the #1 meal kit for eating well.
If you're like, wait, what about HelloFresh? Green Chef is owned by HelloFresh with a lovely array of meal plans to choose from. We love them both dearly. I switched between brands, and now our listeners can enjoy both brands at a discount.
Scott, I made the shrimp rice dish with corn and roasted cashews last night. It was fire. It came with a high-quality, organic, fresh produce that I love, so my whole family can eat clean.
Thrive all year with clean, easy meals from Green Chef. Go to greenchef.com/territory-free and use code territory-free to get started with free salads for 2 months, plus 50% off your first box. That's greenchef.com/territory-free and use that code territory-free.
So what was this offseason like, and what other teams were interested?
Yeah, the same. I mean, it was the same. The priorities were the same, if not more. It was, I need to be preferably a 2-hour or less flight from home, and I need to be able to stay in my own bed in spring training. And obviously, like, you want to be with a group of guys that are good dudes, talented, have a chance to win. And I think in the Orioles, I know Frenchie, our pitching coach. Yeah. I knew our head strength guy from Houston. I knew our head trainer from Houston. I knew and played with a couple of the guys, and obviously the level of talent on this team is exciting. So while I'm like one of the last guys that wants to like bounce from team to team and have to get to know new people and kind of let go of the connections that I've made, I just felt like walking away, and my wife and I, my kids, like we talked a lot about it, and we thought a lot about it. And at the end of the day, in my heart, I just wasn't ready to shut it down with an opportunity like this on the table.
All right, we're back. Let's charge the mound. So I want to get into the topic of trying out new pitches in spring training. I'll give you guys an example. the Mariners have a super talented pitching staff. That's no secret. Their starting staff might be best in baseball. You can easily make a case they've been one of the best pitching staffs or starting staffs in the 21st century. So, also, they've got a pretty good reliever in Andrés Muñoz. We've gotten a lot of tweets out of Mariners camp from some of their beat writers about what they've been trying out. Logan Gilbert has a mystery pitch, and Andrés Muñoz, according to Adam Jude, who covers the team, said it might be the most single impressive bullpen they ever watched the other day. You can see Cal Raleigh's reaction to it. They said the second to last pitch is a changeup with a 10-inch vertical drop. They call it a kick changeup. So a lot of them are messing around, working on new pitches, okay? Some people thought maybe Logan Gilbert's pitch that he was trying out was a splinker. Here's Brian Wu seeing Muñoz's kick change for the first time. The reaction's awesome. But Kratz, what do you think about this in spring training? All for it or don't mess with success?
No, all for it. You're always trying to get better. AJ and I were looking around at all the stuff that is going on here at Pirates camp. There's probably 90% eyewash going on, but there's also that 10% that you are trying to get better. And I think no matter how good you do, you want to do better than you did this season before. And I don't think any player can disagree with that or think, oh, no, I'm fine with how I did last year. You liked what you did, but you're trying to get better. So trying a new pitch is great. If that pitch isn't thrown for a strike or your elbow starts bugging you when you're throwing it, you'll bang it real quick. I never really changed my hitting stance that much. I should have probably, but I liked what I had, and it was tough for me to make a change, especially when you come into spring training and you're first at bat and you go, roll over, I'm going back to what I used to know. So it's the same with pitchers. You try it out, see what happens.
Listen, this reminds me of well, all right, hold up real quick. This reminds me of when Craig Kimbrell, the year I was in spring training with the Braves and Craig Kimbrell, and he wanted to throw a changeup. I'm like, why? Your fastball curveball is as good as it gets. Why are we messing with changeup? He wanted to throw a changeup and never pitched it in a game in his life. He still probably doesn't throw a changeup, but he wanted to try it.
It's the time of year.
Yeah,
it's the time of year to do it.
On. Do what you do. Do what you do. And be great at it, and then go from there. If you need a new – Muñoz don't need a new pitch. Gilbert is a starter, maybe needs a new pitch, but I don't know. This is all a lot of talk about nothing.
But why not try it is my thing. Like, to the point, the last pitch that Aroldis Chapman threw in 2017 was in the bullpen as the Astros were celebrating on the field, and he goes like this. He goes, Papi, splitter. And he threw me the nastiest splitter that I've ever seen at, like, 92 miles an hour. He ended up mixing that pitch in 4 years later in spring training and actually used the pitch. I don't know if he still uses it, but he started using it that year, and it helped him. So you never know.
Kratz, we're cutting you off. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. It was Chapman.
We got a guy here, ex-teammate of mine.
Got
two ex-teammates.
No, you play with Kratz too?
Man, come on, man.
Oh, he played
everybody.
He was playing with more people. You were Kratz.
That was his last good year. I got him right.
Hey, man. I think by the end of this, give me 2 years, I might have everybody.
Man, the whole league. You might have the whole league.
3 years, I might pass EJ.
So, Tommy Pham is here with us here at Pittsburgh camp. What's it like? Another team, another spring training. How many? This is what? This would be 10 for you?
Just checking them all off.
Man.
You know, what's this, 3 or this is 7 in the last 3 years. You know, I blame our CBA, but, hey, I'm just a player.
Hey, just keep you. Hold on. Let me fix your mic real quick. People want to hear that sweet voice you have.
People want to hear what you have to say.
So you say the CBA needs fixing. You mean for veteran guys, right? Because that was always a thing. Like the veteran guys like yourself that can bring a lot to a team as far as at-bat preparation, approach, work ethic, things like that kind of get squeezed out because they're like, oh, we can bring a rookie that can do the, but it's not the same thing, right?
I think, I can't talk too much about it, per our rules, but I do feel like, the free agency ain't really like free agency no more. The trade deadline is really free agency. The middle tier players like myself now, unless I go out there and put up some numbers like I used to, the middle tier is really the free agent market around July.
Makes sense.
I mean, Brandon Belt 2 years ago played for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, he had a great year, man. You look at his
Like,
numbers.
if you say, I want to come into Pittsburgh, I want to have a OPS plus of 132, you'd be like, I'm looking for a multi-year deal the next year. Brandon Belt hasn't been back in the game since.
Yeah, that's kind of, the market is what it is. I had to face the reality of after 23, what I finished making with my incentives, $8 million, and I had a better year than, the market for me was $4 million, $4 or $5 million. So I had a hard time understanding that, but it's really what they want to pay you.
Let's talk about something a little more positive. You got to go back to St. Louis last year. What was that like? What was that like when you walked back into Busch Stadium and the fans? I mean, they gave you a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Right? What was that like? That
was really cool. That's probably one of the best moments of my career so far. Going back to the Lou where it all started. They brought me up, taught me the game, taught me how to play the right way. Going back, walking into the locker room, being embraced by, everybody there had me in the minor leagues and the big leagues. So it was like a welcome home party. Then, you see Carp, Lynn, my old teammates, and coming up late in the game in that big moment, pinch hit at bat, the fans give you a standing ovation and you're feeling good. You got the butterflies all in you, and just to top it off with the hit was even better. It's something that I'll always embrace.
They're talking about rebuilding over in St. Louis. The gap of time that you had from when you came up till last year, the little bit of time that you spent there, could you see a difference in the sense of like a certain they don't do this anymore, or they don't do that anymore?
It was different when I came up. AJ was there when I came up. 14, we showed up at 12 o'clock. My cage work was done by 1:30.
As a
rookie.
Yeah.
I had to come with you too because I wasn't playing either. So I was
then then I was out of the weight room and training room by 3. So from 3 to BP time, then after BP time, it was really just me staying out of the way of the vets, but it taught me discipline. I was very disciplined in the way that I showed up every day. I made sure all my work was done. I checked off every box, and then in the downtime, I just watched video and watched how guys prepared. So it was different. Back then we were doing all the video, which I actually felt comfortable of doing because you as a player you're gonna always trust your work. So when I'm doing video and doing defensive positioning on from what I see on video and going out there and applying it to the game versus now, you don't have to do that. You're given a card. So, but then it's, you're putting the trust of someone else in your hands. That's the only downside to it. What was different, just kind of how the younger guys moved compared to when I was there. I moved a lot different. I was way more respectful of the veterans. It's just where the game is now.
Understood. So you're here in Pirates camp. You're the veteran now. You and Kutch are like the guys, right?
Man, I got 10.
So what's it like? What is it? Do you go to guys and say, hey, listen, this is at bats? Do you reach out to guys? Do you wait for guys to come to you? And what can you bring to this Pirates offense? Because last year, low LBP, not a lot of runs scored. So what's your approach to these guys? Do you search them out, or they wait for them to come to you?
That's something that we've talked about.
Hold on, you could be intimidating now. People know who you are, right? It's not like
we got a whole coaching staff that trains jiu-jitsu in the morning. So they're trying to get me in at 5:30, but that's a little bit too early for me. But guys have been coming to me. I've been also telling guys like the importance of the game. Just, I don't think people understand the average service time is getting way down. You know, when I broke in 14, the average service time was 5.5 years. Then around our last CBA, it was 3.5. As of last year, it dipped under 3. So guys aren't even getting 3 years anymore in the game. You're getting rushed up. You're getting in and out. And you know, I just want to try to explain to guys, you know, how to get longevity. You know, certain things like the value of a walk, making sure that all aspects of your game is what the game will consider above average. You know, defensively, are you checking off boxes? You know, are you working on your defense? Are you working on your base running? Are you working on your swing every day? You know, every aspect of the game that you could be better at to help the team win. But there's offensively, we've talked about the value of a good at bat. You know, we tend to look at really 7 things: getting a hit, hitting the ball over 95, getting a walk, a hit by pitch, moving a runner over, you know, sack fly. You know, are you producing those outcomes? Are you producing those outcomes to, you know, to help the team? So there's a lot of stuff we talk about, you know, and also, you know, if you're doing those things, you know, you're usually going to be a pretty solid player to get longevity in the game.
How long until you do this in a game? I mean, are you going to be the first? Have the Pirates tried out the old ABS yet? Or are you going to be the first one in at bat to give the old helmet tap?
Have it here?
I might, you know, I'm still adjusting to the ABS, honestly. What I'm learning is their zone is a little bit lower than what I anticipated. And the top of my zone is not the top of their zone. So there's an adjustment period for me that I have to familiarize myself with. Of course, the more I see this, the sharper I'm going to get, because I'm a guy that, generally speaking, is one of the lowest chase guys in the league. So I will get better at it as long as I just, you know, keep practicing, keep working at it. But I can imagine it will probably come into the league real soon. I've heard rumors about it as far as money to be made within it, as far as betting.
And sponsorships probably
correct.
Too, right?
That'll go fast.
It's coming. It's coming to let you guys know. How soon, I don't know, but it's coming because there's money to be made in the ABS system, believe it or not.
So you should practice in spring training. If I was you,
I mean,
and you got 10+ years, you know what's Derek Shelton gonna say? Tommy, we got one of the best eyes in the game. We don't want you challenged. I'd want to try it.
I feel like you got to pick your right spots, you know, because you only have 2. When it comes, I would love for every player to have 1 a game. It shouldn't be 2. It should be every player should get 1. You know, it looks like it works really quick. So why not? Give every guy his challenge. If you miss it, you lost it. If you get it, you still have it. I'm in favor of that. But right now with 2, you got to be real. You got to be real kind of technical with when you pick and choose it, because a big situation of the game, you know, and if you already used them previously, and you got runners on, let's say, second and third, and you know you got a 2-2 count, and you just get rung up on a bad call, you're going to need that challenge. So you're going to have to be smart when you choose it.
For sure. You got some time. You got some time to practice it. You see what was going on in Boston with Bregman coming over and Devers, the dude that's got, you know, 100 more years left on his contract.
And like 200 more million.
One, what do you think about that situation? And 2, how would you have gone about it, or how would you have, you know, told those guys to go about it?
I get it from both sides, you know, to be honest with you guys. You know, Bregman is one of the best defensive third basemen in the game. I get it. But, you know, also Devers has been with that organization from day one, and he's put in his time there. I get it. If anything, I would be happy as an organization with Devers saying it's my job, because now, you know, you got to go back out there and back it up. You know, if he goes out there and he shows he's an average fielder at best or at worst, and better, then hey, you got a guy that's motivated now, that's going to go out there and put in the extra work to to prove himself and help the team. So I get it from both ends, man. You got to look at it from both spectrums. But then again, Bregman coming in, he's the guy. It's a tough situation that I really wouldn't want to be a part of. If anything, I feel like, the Red Sox should have talked to Devers before they signed him. So
just a little bit. All right, before we let you go, I know you got work to get done. And you can tell me not to talk about it, but you showed me something, and if you want to talk about it, I get it. But you showed me something when I talked to you, and it's something that I said was one of the coolest things I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
So people that don't know out there, he has an eye thing, and my son has the same eye thing, and Tommy and I talked about it, and my son, he helped me get my son through it. And then I said to him, he said, well, what does your son want to do? And I said, I think he wants to be an optometrist because of what they went through. And then what did you show me on your phone? And I was like, that might be, and he's like, I don't want to talk about it. But you got to, people need to know this because it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
It's a little certificate for optometry. In this process of mine in playing baseball with keratoconus, I've had to educate myself on the condition to help myself help doctors in the process. Because as you get older, your eyes kind of lose its ability to accommodate. That happens with everybody. So, when you're a little kid, you can literally read something this close. And as you get older, you're like, oh, I need reading glasses because you lose the ability to accommodate. So I've had to educate myself on everything on the field of optometry to help myself play better. And in this process, I'm kind of figuring out, like, all right, do I want to help? Do I want to get in the eye field after I'm done playing to help other athletes, or do I want to stay in the game? I'm trying to figure myself out, but ideally, I would love to play, 4 more years. I work hard for it. I do understand you got to go out there and produce, so I'm working on that as well.
So do we have to call you Dr. Pham from now on?
I feel like anybody that made it to the big league should be called Dr. Pham because I'm sorry, not Dr. Pham, Dr. whatever, because we doctored in baseball.
Yeah, but you got a certificate for it?
Nah, but man,
that's what seriously.
Like
he said he's been
6
taking
years.
classes. That's like one of the
like
coolest
8
things
years.
of all time.
So,
I mean, in his downtime, taking classes to learn. I mean, that's pretty awesome, man.
All right, fellas, I gotta go.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Doctor.
My former teammates.
Thanks, Doctor.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you coming on, Doc. FT fam. We'll be right back.
Oh, Todd Father. Remember the good old days when we would have the cards in the binders, but then they'd get all messed up and we're trying to sell online and it's just real clunky? They really actually weren't the good old days, were they?
No, they were definitely not. But now there's a better way. The Arena Club has been dominant with this. You get to trade your cards, you could sell them. But the best part for me is getting them graded. I love everything about that. This new age of getting cards graded. You could display them on your online showroom, your mobile device. It's the coolest thing in the world.
Whether you're buying, selling, trading, or displaying, Arena Club is the all-in-one trading card platform. You have to sign up for an account at arenaclub.com/foul. Just like Todd Father mentioned, there's a process that combines AI and human grading to get the job done. Right now, 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/foul. Use code FOUL. That's arenaclub.com/foul. Code FOUL for 20% off your first purchase.
I know the division's really good, but I like our team, and I don't mind being under the radar a little bit, if that's what you want to call it.
What's the next step for you guys? Because obviously
win a game in the postseason.
Well,
that's the next step.
But how? That's kind of my
I mean, I've been asked.
Like, obviously, you guys have made it the last 2 years. You've gotten to the point of where you guys are now. Everyone's like the Orioles. It's go time, right, for you guys. So how do you get over that hump of, man? How do we win a game and then a series and then make a deep run?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been asked that question a lot this spring. There's no good answer really, because until you do it, they're going to be like, well, you didn't do it. So I think there's no good answer. I think we're a long way from October. We're going to have fun playing baseball. We're going to enjoy each other's company. We have the talent and the ability to get to that point, obviously. But but we still got to go out and win games. We got to go beat the Yankees. We got to go beat the Red Sox. We got to go, so it's in this business. I like to say, let's take it one day at a time, because that is the only way to go. So obviously we have goals, big dreams, big goals. We want to do accomplish great things as a team, but we're not going to do them today, but we're going to set kind of the standard of how we want to go about our business, and maybe our mentality, and how we're going to approach each day. And then once we get to that point, I have confidence that we'll be ready to rock.
In the weeds. So let's spend a few minutes to talk about positional battles. If we have time, we'll get into teams in specifics. Well, let's start here. Kratz, you can be the expert on this one. How does it work when you're competing for a spot in spring training? You're a full-fledged adult, and there is only one spot and, say, 2 or 3 catchers competing for it. How fun is that? Like, hey, friend, but also I want the job.
It's about being a pro. Like, you have to go out and it's like some people can say, well, you're going to AAA, or this guy has the leg up. Yeah, but you still have to go get ready. Like, the team doesn't need just 2 catchers. So in my position, you sit there and you go, all right, well, how am I gonna get myself ready? You have to go out and be the best teammate you can be. You have to be the best. Like, if you're looking to, like, ooh, that guy did bad. Oh man, that's my best chance now to make the team. No, you're setting yourself up for misery.
Yeah,
and
I don't know.
AJ,
I don't know. I'm glad you like Kratz that, because
you don't have experience.
I never came into a camp really. Even at the end of my career, I never came into a camp where I'm like, oh, I got to make a team. It was you signed a big league deal, you're going to make the team. Other than, when I was young, but even when I was really young, I knew I probably wasn't making the team until 2001, and I was up for the last 2 months and had done enough to establish myself where I kind of went in and knew. So I think the guys that I've talked to, though, say you just got to let it be, man. Like kind of what you said, Kratzy. Like, you can't think about it every day because you'll drive yourself nuts. So I think you got to just let it be. When you get an opportunity to play, you play, and you do the best you can. And listen, I'll be honest, too, and I don't know this. You might disagree with me. Most of the time going in, they already have a pretty good idea who's making the team.
They do.
Unless somebody comes out and just does something unbelievable, changes and whatever it is. But 99% of the time, they already know who's making the team.
You're setting yourself up for later in the season. You're setting yourself up for, okay, I remember this guy from camp. He got to know the team. That's a huge thing to be able to, like, be in front of the coaches and show that you're able to do stuff. But think about this. Like, let's say you're trying to make the team and you go 2 for 2 in your 2 at-bats that you get. And then the guy you're competing against goes 3 for 3. Does that demean what you did? No. Same thing. Like,
Didn't it lead to you rooting against guys? Like,
yes.
You don't really want to root against anybody.
I've seen people do it. And it's not conducive for the environment of what I think spring training is for, bringing the boys together, putting the best team out there so everyone's healthy to hit the ground running April 1st or March 27th when the season starts. But you can suffer on both ends when you're thinking, oh, his results dictate what I do. It doesn't. It doesn't dictate it.
True. You know who it did to Don Kelly, the bench coach here, was walking by us? Look at him.
Look at that guy. That's his TV debut.
I want to take some swings. Yeah, can I hit off Skeens? Yes, I do.
We want that. All the coaches have said that so far. I know we just diverted off, but AJ's not making the team is what they said if he has to face Skeens. Like, that's all the coaches have said,
but
he's nasty.
But if I do get that one hit, just think about it. If I do get that one hit, I have bragging rights forever. So I'm just saying, when I get that one hit.
No, it's got to be more than a hit. It's got to be more than a hit. It's got to be more than a hit.
Why?
Because Baraki just came by, and he still knows that I hit a moonshot off him in the bushes.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't count.
What was the first thing he said after he said hi to me?
Well, yeah, but that wasn't. He's like, man, at AAA, you hit a homer off me.
A far homer is what he said.
Oh, sorry. AAA, I hit a far homer.
Listen, that's all I had. Some days I bragged about what I did in BP because that's all I had was BP.
Whatever Kratz just did is definitely going to be on the next edition of Foul Territory.
Out of context.
Out of context. Yes. That's all I'll say. Can you guys give us a little context on what the camps are like on a camp-by-camp basis? I know this is camp 2, but obviously you've seen them all. So people even want to know in the other shot, if you can switch to it, that has the either little mound or cornhole-looking thing. What's going on behind you there? What's that?
So I asked Kratz what those were. There's 4 mounds. They're obviously fake mounds, and there's every pitcher goes over there and just acts like they're pitching, and they have like things strapped to their back, and they have these balls they're throwing, like these big weighted balls are doing all this stuff. I honestly, I don't know what they're doing, but there's 4 of them lined up over there, and every pitcher's been on them today.
It's a word we used last year with the Mets. A lot of gimmicks. I mean, we got it looks like McDonald's bouncy house balls out there. We got a bunch of heavy balls, essentially, without being funny about it. Like, it's where they're warming up. Like, they don't just warm up next to, like, with a teammate and throw a baseball to each other. They throw different weighted balls up against the wall at different velocities, doing their pitching motions. Some of them start, like, this way and turn and throw. Some start closed and open up. There's a lot of gimmicks going on, and I wonder how much all these gimmicks, because we're just looking at the pitcher gimmicks, are making the guys throw harder, but how many of them are, like, keeping these dudes on the field, which every one of these guys, when they hear me say this, trainers and everything, they're going to say, well, you can't say that. We're not hurting them. They're trying to help them get better, but there's a lot of gimmicks going on back there. A lot of gimmicks.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of the difference between the Florida camps and the Arizona camps, if we're being general? Are there big differences between the two, or it just is a matter of how recent renovations were?
I think it's renovations. I think that a lot of the Arizona stadiums are newer than the Florida stadiums because, and this one, the Pirates have been in Bradenton for, 60 years at least.
Yeah, Jimmy T was saying how many it was.
I mean, they've been here forever, right? I mean, the Blue Jays have been in Dunedin forever. The Phillies have been in Clearwater a long time. Some of these stadiums are really old. Now, if you go to the Braves and some of the newer stadiums, like JetBlue has all the stuff because it's fairly new. It's different, but a lot of the Arizona camps are newer. I mean, Salt River is brand new. Sloan and where the Cubs are is brand new. And even like the A's, when they moved out of Phoenix Muni to Hohokam, they redid it for them. So I just think it's different because of the newness of the stadiums. A lot of the Florida teams are trying to catch up because of the cities want them to stay because it brings a lot of revenue. It brings people to these smaller towns, but I just think it's they're playing catch up because obviously they're newer stadiums in Arizona.
The difference is you're in Arizona, which is a much better state than Florida. So there's the biggest difference.
You're going to take that?
We're all entitled to opinion, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean you're wrong. Doesn't mean you're right.
I'll take the middle ground. They're both awesome, especially this time of year. How about that?
The only difference is Arizona, everyone is in one city, right? So in Florida, you have to kind of bounce around to do it. In Arizona, everyone is in Phoenix proper. Now, yes, Surprise and Goodyear and Peoria and this and that, they're all spread out, but they're in one city. It would be like if everybody here was in just the Tampa Bay area or like the Palm Beach area. You just spread it out. I mean, that's it. It's just in one big city.
Yeah, if you can't handle a little mileage, some hours in a drive behind the wheel, then Florida camps aren't for you and you're a little soft. But if you want everything to be really easy, then Arizona is for you for spring training experiences.
If you like water, trees, grass, anything like that, you got to love Florida.
Gators.
If you just want to see rocks and desert, then you go to Arizona.
That's why I love Florida. I loved the Florida spring trainings over Arizona, and I know I'm in the minority when I say that because of how close everything was in Arizona. But being down here in Florida for spring training, my family would come with me all the time, so they got to go to the beach. They got to go, play out in the yard. By the end of spring training, sometimes in Arizona, it was 100 degrees. Kids can't be playing in our sand backyard. Like if we rented a house with a pool, they'd be in there. But Like there was a lot. I enjoyed Florida spring training way more.
It's a dry heat, though, Kratz. It's a dry heat in Arizona.
I don't even know what that means. It feels like you're cooking.
Yeah,
like
well,
someone has
really,
a hair dryer on you.
exactly. It just comes down to, do you like eating gator or scorpion? You know, gator, you go to Florida, do you like
both.
your gator tenders, right? You've had both. Of course, you've eaten scorpion, I'm sure. Barbecued scorpion wings or something like that. Scorpion claws
Bangkok,
are
Thailand.
just delicious. Yeah,
Delicious.
Thailand has the best scorpion. All right, we'll be right back. If we don't have a Pirates player by then, we will show you a clip from a Zack Wheeler interview as part of the FT Network next on FT. All right, we have a serious party foul. I need help. He's been on the show before. His name's Ben Rortvet. You have to be careful because Ben is very, very strong, very, very jacked, but needs his eyes checked on an ABS challenge. And we have it. Here it is. That is upstairs by a mile. Ben challenged it. Kratz, if you did that during spring training, would they be like, hey, we actually think you've improved with the bat. We like what you've been doing, obviously always behind the plate with framing, but it was so off your ABS challenge that we're going to have to send you home.
You can't make. I mean, it was an egregious mistake. It's funny because Ben's really good at receiving. He's got quick hands, you know, moving the ball around a lot. Like he convinced himself. My favorite response to that was what Rob said. Pitching Ninja said on his Twitter account. He called it the Angel Ball Strike System, ABS, Angel Ball Strike System.
Angel Hernandez, yep.
Angel Hernandez, yes.
This is why spring training is for ABS. We asked Tommy Pham about it. I mean, try it out. Just see what happens. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in spring training. Nobody's paying attention. Nobody remembers. Oh, Ben. I mean, other than this tweet because we're laughing about it, but Ben Rortvet, he missed this one by a mile. Who cares? What inning was it in? I mean, it's spring training. It's probably his first time being around it. Why not? Heck, if I was catching or I was hitting, there was a ball 3 feet outside just to get a reaction, I'd be like,
just to do it. You're not saving it. You're
not saving it.
You're not
Can't take
saving
this
it for number 95.
Can't take this back to me later to the clubhouse. Let's try it.
I'm trying it out. But what did Tommy say? Tommy said the top of the strike zone, the ABS zone, is smaller than he thought, and the bottom is bigger. So that'll be a adjustment.
My thing was just, don't you guys know the zone to an extent? Obviously, if it's borderline, it's borderline. But don't you feel like when you catch a pitch, you know if it was too high?
High and low is harder than in and out.
And that one was a breaking ball too. So does he think it came in farther?
Yeah.
Where is that pitch? Because sometimes I thought some breaking balls were low and they would have hit the zone.
Okay, that's fair.
By the way, just because Kratz is here, I'm starting to get a sprinkle on my head. And by the way, we also, Mark, our esteemed EP executive producer, didn't bring the tent today, even though I asked him to. So if we have to cancel the show, Scott, you got it for the next hour if it starts raining. Just saying. We're fine.
Tent every day, please.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
That's what he said.
Hey, we have a Philly show that's part of the Foul Territory Network. We have 11 total team shows, 15 shows in all. We'll talk more about the newest edition tomorrow. I can give you a hint, though. It's called Mayday, whichever may. But the Philly show has been dominating in Clearwater, Florida. That's Todd Zalecki, Ruben Amaro, and Jim Salisbury. That trio has been lining up a number of interviews with Philly's players, including Zack Wheeler. Here's a little clip.
The slider was kind of struggling a little bit, right. Not necessarily shape-wise. Like shape, it could get a little bit better, but just throwing it for a good, strike. It's always low. It's always a ball. And so I never got chases off of it and stuff like that. And Caleb just kind of came to me, hey, this is the kind of the new thing going around. And, he introduced it to me. I tried a few different grips, and I found one that kind of mimicked my curveball just a hair. So I was comfortable with the grip. I just had to change my angle a little bit more. Once you start playing around with that angle, it kind of messes with your fastball a little bit. So I kind of had to go back and forth in between starts. Some starts it was this, some starts it was that. And then the split, we talked about it during the off season. I need something that goes the other way.
Show us how to throw it.
Yeah. So the sweeper, I basically just hook that seam right there. Try to make this, the horseshoe right here, or the train tracks, whatever you want to call it, kind of just keep going that way. That's my thought on it. Now keep it going. I just got to make sure I don't start doing that and trying to make it go. I got to keep my arm up because that's where my fastball is, and just trust it and throw it. And then the split, before I was kind of just like a normal split like that, with my fingers down the side. But then I started going up with my other fingers for whatever reason. It just feels more comfortable, and I started hooking that seam a little bit.
Interesting.
And my thumb's just there. I basically don't even use my thumb, but my thumb's just there for a little bit of brace on that side. So just throw it like a fastball.
And the Phillies show is, yes, part of the FT network. There's how you can get involved. Obviously, typing it into the platform that you love. That's Billy Wagner on the screen there, by the way. But what did we think of what Zack Wheeler said? It's crazy. Obviously, he's deep into his career at this point, but he keeps getting better. And if you look at his numbers over the past 5-6 years, AJ, he's probably the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah, that no one really mentions in that conversation, right?
Yeah.
No one
Playoffs,
mentions him in
too.
that conversation. Playoffs, he's been unbelievable. Playoffs, he's been unbelievable in the playoffs. This guy earns every dollar he makes. By the way, makes every start. Goes 95s, punches. Goes one time through the lineup and punches everybody's ticket with heaters right here, right? And then he's like, "Oh, I can throw these other pitches too." By the way, I mean he's as good as it gets for me. I mean he's in the top 10 conversation of pitchers in the game right now, easy.
He's what you think, or what I think of when I think of like guys, how they were taught how to pitch. I get it. Not everybody has Zack Wheeler stuff, but when he was taught, like the way that he goes through the lineup and not throwing all his pitches the first time through, like it gives you the ability to go deeper into the game. Aaron Nola does the same thing. Has Aaron Nola had the same success? No. But they're not just going out, okay, my best pitch is my sweeper. I'm working on my sweeper now. It's my best pitch. Rip, 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 rip. By the 5th, 6th inning, he's thrown 95, like, max effort pitches. He works counts. He works hey, you know what? Now I'm just going to blow this top of the zone heater by guys, and I'm going to get some quick outs with that ground ball down and away. He gets his strikeouts, and he gets his quick outs. So, to me, I don't want to say he's underrated because he finished top 3 last year, but he's definitely not talked about in that same category, and he should be.
He's everything you want in a starter, to me. You've got the pitch mix,
contract.
You've got the length, you've got the swing and miss. What are you pointing to, AJ?
Well, he was supposed to come on, but apparently he's pitching today. Jared Jones is back.
Jared Jones.
I don't know if you can see him. I don't know. I can't really
He
see
was
him.
He was in AJ's shot, but now he lunged out of the way of AJ's shot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I talked to him earlier. He came on. Remember, he was great last year. He came on, and he was like, I don't know if I'm going to make the team or what. And he came on. So I went up to him and said, hey, remember how good you did last year? Maybe we could. He said, sure. And then I found out he was pitching today. So don't count on Jared Jones coming on today.
a little piece of information would have
Yeah,
been nice.
all you had to do
know.
was say, hey, I'm pitching today. And I was like,
Hey, I'm starting in the game.
no problem.
Now, reliever, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was being nice. He was probably either nervous or just trying to be nice to you guys and say, yeah, I'll do my best. I'll try to come on, in between my prep for my start.
Yeah, well, if he would have said that, I would have said, don't worry about it. It's no big deal.
If anybody wants to have it, if players are watching right now, here's your PSA, your public service announcement. AJ doesn't want you to be nice. AJ wants you to be honest with him.
Yeah, just tell me.
Just tell him. Just tell him. Just give him, dog, like, I'm not going to be able to make it on. Why? Because I don't like coming on, or I'm pitching in the game, or I really don't like Kratz. One of the two. He's good with any answer. Not.
No, listen, I understand why he's not coming on. Like, he's
absolutely.
pitching today, right? So,
Absolutely.
I mean, again, if he just would have said, hey, man, I'm pitching today. Okay, cool, bro. Think you're starting?
Look at him.
Awesome.
He's getting his legs loose.
Go get him. Like, I hope you pitch great. I hope everything goes well for you. Hope you punch Acuna's ticket leading off the game. I doubt Acuna made the trip, but, I don't know. No,
And
he
he's
was
not
nice.
taking
He was very
ABs.
nice.
Acuna's
No, I know,
not
that's what
taking
I'm saying.
ABs in
But
spring
in
training.
a normal
but yeah.
game, I would say go punch his ticket just because you were
Yeah.
nice.
Because you're nice.
That's
Not that
true.
Acuna's not nice.
Good fella.
Good fella. Can I circle back to Wheeler for one moment? Do you remember when he signed that first contract with Philly? You brought it up, Kratz. There were critics. They're like, this guy hasn't proven crap. This was, for me, an opportunity for front offices to be like, shut up, we know more than you, to the general public. And they were right. Sometimes front offices are really good at projecting forward. Sometimes they're not, but they were really good in this instance. So I have to give credit to the Phillies. Not like at the time they were the most front, ahead of the game front office in terms of analytics and all of that. But most people around the sport said, hey, Zack Wheeler is not unleashing his true potential yet with the Mets. That was a previous front office with the Mets, previous player development and coaching system, right? It's been a minute at this point. You're looking at like 6-7+ years ago with Zack Wheeler and his development. And the Mets have since invested millions in dollars in a pitching lab, new pitching coach, the whole deal. But Zack Wheeler was not reaching his potential yet. And it's not like he was a baby, right? He hit free agency, and the Phillies found, like I said, the best starter in baseball in the past half decade at a bargain price because he hadn't done it yet consistently in the majors.
Imagine how much it would be different, and he kind of alluded to it, had he accepted the offer to the White Sox.
What do you mean? Think about how much bigger of a star he would be if he played for the White Sox versus the Phillies. Think about all the World Series the White Sox would have won if he would have accepted that instead of going to the Phillies where he hasn't won one. Just think, Zach, you could have won multiple World Series if you were a White Sox right now. Just saying, Zach, missed on that one. I'm sorry. I love you, but you missed on that one.
It will go down. I saw an article, and I wish I remember who wrote it, but they were talking about some of the best contracts in history in the sense of getting most value out of that contract. Obviously, he didn't win a Cy Young yet and anything like that, but what they paid him in his last contract, to me, set it up as a no-brainer to, like, let's go, do the right thing, keep him in the Phillies red and white because, like, it's been nothing but awesome. And you don't have many innings eaters. He also eats innings. Like, you talk about dudes who are dominant, but he throws 160 innings. They don't have it. Dude's throwing 200+. It's, to me, could this be the year that he gets his Cy Young? I don't know. Look at what Sale did last year. Nobody thought Sale was going to do what he did.
Right, and if Sale isn't able to replicate what he did, or they scale him back a little bit to try and preserve him for the end of the season, then that would open up the race a little bit more. There's a dude at the camp you're at right now who is anxiously going to be competing for a Cy Young award as well in Paul Skeens.
Jared Jones?
Some of you, Jared Jones, Bubba Chandler, no. But we spoke to Skeens a few weeks ago in New York City. I don't think we're going to get him today. Some people asking about him, but AJ, I mean, he was talking also
He's
about
right here.
how,
Look. He's right
where?
here.
Well, mini version of him.
He's right here. We got him. He's
Yeah.
here. Hey, Paul. Love you,
Card.
Ask him, AJ, ask him if he feels like, ask his card if he feels like he is going to be
Paul.
a better pitcher, not just a pitcher, obviously, who goes 30 starts. Like, does he actually think that he can dial it up from the ridiculous numbers he put together last year?
Paul, do you think you can be better this year than you were last year? You know what he said? He's like, I have a cutter now. Didn't have a cutter. I just had a four-seamer, a sinker, and a splinker, and a little slider. But now he's throwing a cutter. So, I mean, do I think he can? Yeah, you heard Derek Shelton say it. This guy, if you talk to the Pirates people around here, they're like, well, if he pitches 30 games, we should win at least 20 of those games. Right? I mean, not that that's – but I would go even higher than that. I would think you'd be in 27 of those 30. Now, everybody has a clunker here and there, but out of those 30 starts, if he gives you a chance to win 27 of those 30, it's a good thing.
Do we have to say everybody has a clunker? Has he had a clunker?
He did. He had a clunker. One of his first starts. Everyone has a clunker. He had one. It happens. It happens to everybody. Everyone has a clunker. The best, even Chris Sale had a clunker last year, and he was unbelievable. Tarek Skubal had a clunker last year, and he was unbelievable. But everybody at some point, I mean, Johan Santana, who won Cy Youngs, he had clunkers. Everyone has a clunker every once in a while. It just happens. It just happens.
Yeah. When you have a clunker and you're a starter, you can easily get away with it. So you're okay.
As a clunker as a reliever, well, yeah, that's tough. It takes you 3 months. You go out and give up like 5 runs in an inning. It takes you like 3 months to get that back down as a reliever.
Facts.
Right.
Facts. All right, FT fam, we'll be right back. We'll keep working on getting you some Pirates players to chat with in Bradenton.
What can you tell us about Kim and his progression and how the Dodgers are feeling about him a few games into the camp?
Yeah, just go Google some highlights of Kim from the KBO. I mean, and you talk to the players in the Dodgers camp, Miguel Rojas, some of the coaches, it's really clear that his best position is second base. And that's sort of the baseline they're working with now. Alana knows with their time following the Dodgers, V does not just stand for victory, it stands for versatility. And they value that asset in a player as much, if not more, than any organization I've been around in 30 years. And, you know, he's left-handed. You have Pages and James Outman in the outfield. You could conceivably start both those guys in AAA if Kim can play the outfield. They have plenty of shortstops, but, you know, if he can play shortstop, that adds to the depth. They're going to explore everything they can as far as him being a utility player. But I could very easily see this, you know, becoming a situation where he's primarily a second baseman, which they need. Probably more of a platoon second baseman, because you're going to want to have, you know, Kike in the lineup against lefties. You can move Tommy Edman over there, you know, depending on if Pages is on the team, and you against a lefty put Pages in center and Edman, the switch hitter, at second. The other thing they had outside of versatility, they love their platoon splits too, and they're going to have a lot of options in a lot of different areas. And, you know, and Miguel Rojas, another right-handed hitter, you're going to want to get him in the lineup against some lefties too. So once again, good problem to have if everybody stays healthy. But I think almost a bigger determinant for Kim is going to be how he hits, how he adjusts to the better, you know, higher velocity, the nastier breaking pitches. It's way too early to make a determination just from some of the early at bats I've seen. You know, he is a contact hitter. It's just hard to tell this early how his you know, offensive skills are going to translate. The one tool he does seem to have in great supply is speed, and that's always going to help him. So that to me will probably determine how much he plays, as opposed to, you know, whether he can play short or third or center field.
All right, let's hit hot corner. Evan Drellick put out a really good article on the back and forth between Tony Clark and Rob Manfred. It included a pretty interesting back and forth on a potential international draft, of course, the salary cap talk. So we'll hit a few layers here. Manfred talked about how he's getting emails. I'm getting emails from fans complaining about the Dodgers. Sounds windy there, by the way. And Tony Clark's like, yeah, I'm getting emails too. People concerned about their teams not doing anything, not as concerned about the Dodgers doing things. You know, he's like, obviously Manfred's going to point out the team's spending. He's like, and I'm going to point out the team's not spending. So I feel like they're at a stalemate on that one. You know, that's a story we've been talking about for a while. I think the back and forth, I want to start here on the international draft, was very interesting, because there are serious issues with the international signing system right now, right? All these deals being done with teenagers and figuring out how to get them over here, and the deals are done before they actually start the season or before they start the signing period, okay? So, guys, Manfred said, I want to be clear about this. This is not a number or economic issue with the international draft they're trying to get. So he said, not a number of player or economic issue. It's a transparency issue. Okay. So in Drellick's article, he says, In July of 2022, the sides were $69 million apart in their proposals for an international bonus pool. The league proposed $191 million. The union proposed $260 million. They disagreed on other details as well. Tony Clark replied, "Oh, it's not an economic issue?" Quote, "Well, then we probably should have had them engage when we made a proposal the last time, which we had never made before, because it really seemed like it was an economic issue, along with a number of other things that were associated with protecting the integrity of each country that was going to be part of an international draft system." So it's great to hear that it's not an economic issue. We'll take that under advisement when we sit down at the bargaining table and we go back and forth on the value associated with a draft versus a non-draft. Okay. How do you explain this one, AJ? The league wants an international draft. The players are coming to the table saying, cool, let's talk this out. And then the league's like, yeah, but it's got to be for less money. So is it about the international draft, or is it about holding down how much these players are receiving? Because that one is tough to defend if you're the league.
I'm going to let Kratz answer this one because you lost me about 2 minutes ago when you started talking about 150, 191 to 260
Wait,
million.
how do okay?
You know
wait, very
because I'm going to explain why. I'm going to explain why,
What?
Scott. Because this is just negotiating ploy, and they're negotiating in the media, which they didn't want to do, which everyone says we don't want to do, but they're negotiating in the media because you know what happens? The owners or the players say, "Hey, we want an international draft," and then the players say, "Okay, well we don't want that," and then the two sides meet, and they're like, one of them goes, "Oh, well we gave away trying to want the international draft," and the players say, "Yeah, but we wanted," knowing that this really has not become a real thing until they actually sit down and talk about it. But it's just a way for them to say, "Well, we gave up the international draft, so the players, now have to give up free agency, or players now have to give up thinking about, whatever it is." It's all negotiating, and until they actually sit down in a room and talk about it, I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, it's kind of like, where will Juan Soto go? Until Juan Soto signs, I don't really want to care about it. I don't really care about this because if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So why am I going to sit here and stress over what they're talking about? They're just talking nonsense because they're both negotiating in the media.
They are negotiating in the media, but to me, like, it's always it shouldn't come down to the economic part of it. It should be coming down to the competition part of it. What is going to make our product, Major League Baseball, the players, be the best product that we can possibly put out there for the fans that are lining up outside the fence right now? They're waiting for one glimpse of a big league player, whether it's Paul Skeens or Andrew McCutchen. It doesn't matter who it is. How can we make more fans clamor about our game? And sure as heck, it's not being unrealistic about how much money everybody makes or who should get what. It should be about what makes this game better, because everybody wins when that's your focus.
Also, I mean, the fight is over like $2 million per team. Sure, we can make a case that that's a lot in the real world, but for billionaires, it's not. AJ, my thing is, if the mission from the league is to get an international draft, maybe you bend a little bit more on a situation like this. We all know that on a CBA by CBA basis, they're going to try to keep that number as far down as possible anyway. So why does it have to be a legal battle over the number? Right?
Like, everything is a legal battle, Scott. Everything is a legal battle. Everything is
in life.
battle. Everything, they want to make everything into a big deal. So when they give up a little tiny thing, they're like, "Oh, look at this big thing we gave up, so you have to give up." So that's kind of my point, is everything is a legal battle. Everything is a fight in the newspaper when it doesn't have to be. Like, I think if Tony Clark talked to his players, I think some players would be for a world draft and some players wouldn't be for a world draft, right? But I think at the same time, until you sit down with the players and then you sit down with the owners and then they sit down together, this is not going to happen, because it's just not. It's just not the way it works. And I don't know. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I don't know. I hate when people negotiate in the media, because it seems like both sides sound like they're being whiny to me. It's like, oh, petty. Right? Like,
petty.
Yeah, they're being petty. They're just being, I want to say whiny little somethings, but I can't say that on television.
Okay. Fair. All right. We'll be right back. FT fam, we'll go over some hot takes and see if we can grab another Pirates player or two here on FT. All right, BetMGM Futures regular season strikeout leader. Your contenders are the following: Paul Skeens plus 350, Garrett Crochet plus 600, Tarek Skubal plus 700, Dylan Cease plus 900, Blake Snell plus 1,200. Any value on the board, Kratz?
1,200. I have to take Blake Snell, a guy who has already piled up strikeouts. Now he is going to an organization that historically wants to make changes to make guys pile up more strikeouts. In my opinion, Blake Snell's the value on there. I'm not saying he has the best chance, but he has the best chance to give you a lot of value. At plus 1,200, I'm locking that in for sure.
No, Dylan Cease is it. Why? Free agent year. This free agent year, and this guy makes all his starts. That's the one that stands out right there. Blake Snell, they're going to go to a 6-man, maybe a 7-man, maybe a 10-man rotation. He's not going to get the pitch. They always hold his innings down. That's the worry of Blake Snell. Skubal coming off of Cy Young. How much will they use him this year? And all the innings he threw last year. Skeens, again, it's management. It's about load management, how will Skeens do. But to me, the one that stands out is Dylan Cease. Yeah. Free agent year. He's always been able to get strikeouts when he needs them. I think he's the value at plus 900.
Yep, I'm with you. Cease, he's been very durable too. And the Padres need him to make every single start and then some. They might be like, hey, you down for 36 starts? Anyway, want to give you a quick look at the $1.5 million in guaranteed money that is being thrown around here right now for the Poker Winter Online Championships. If you're in New York, Michigan, or Pennsylvania, you must be 21 plus, of course. Go check it out at BetMGM's online poker app. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Be right back. FT Pham. Sounds like Andrew McCutchen is about to get seated.
Well, we're back. We have some guy. You won something once here. Award, right, in Pittsburgh once? MV, what was it? MVP?
Which one?
Andrew McCutchen, former National League MVP. And you're a Pirate. I guess, can I call you a legend? Pirates legend?
Man, yes.
I don't know. I don't put that on myself, so.
It's a yes or no question. Yes or no. I didn't say I don't know. Yes or no.
I said no. I said I don't know.
I would go with it. Dude, if I had your resume, guess what I'd be doing?
Oh.
I'd be telling Derek Shelton what I'm doing. Hey, listen, Shel, I know you've been here for like a couple of years. I've been here for a long time. I got an MVP. I got some other trophies in this trophy case. We're going to do what I want.
Yeah, I circle the games I want to play in. No gray pants, you know.
Do you have gray pants? Do you have gray pants?
I have no idea. I don't think so.
Did you slide it back under Shelton's locker, and then he came back and was like, yeah, I'm good with that?
Nah, he knows.
He knows.
He knows.
He gets it.
He knows. Yeah. Here, the commute is easy.
The commute
Yeah.
is
Well,
easy.
tomorrow's a split squad. I heard you're going to play against the Braves down in Port Charlotte.
Yeah, I might have to take the trip. I might have to. Now I'm trying to double dip. Go here, get a couple, get there, play the second half of the game. I ain't get that bats in.
How many you need? How many at-bats does Andrew McCutchen need to be ready?
10.
That's it? 10 at-bats?
10. That's what? 3 games? 10.
For real?
10.
See that? We've been talking about it before, and he was saying, what'd you say, 40?
I said 30 to 40.
Okay. I never got any at bats, so if you don't get your 10, if you get only 10 at bats, then we don't. Other people get to hit. You get some other dudes.
That's it. Just give me 10, and then you throw in an extra 5 to 7 because maybe you didn't do something in the first 10 at bats where you're on base. You got to run. I got to run.
You got to slide?
I got to run and slide to make sure nothing's broken there.
What's the hardest thing right now?
Running.
Yeah?
Really?
Yeah.
But you always could run.
Is it getting up to speed? Is it?
It's the telling your brain to do that. Like, you can still do it, but now it's like I gotta. All right, buddy. Let's a couple hard sprints before this game to make sure that these are still there. You're not doing it in the game the first time. Because I used to be able to just do it. And a couple high knees, a little stretch here and there. Then you chop her to third, and it's just like, boom. Now, like, no, I got to make sure that bad boy is firing. So.
Where do you like to hit in the lineup?
6.
6?
Yeah.
Why 6? Not lead off? Lead off a lot. You lead off a lot.
I don't like lead off.
Why? Because you got to get the first pitch heater and you don't swing at it?
I like lead off from a hitting standpoint. I don't like lead off from on base standpoint. Because you got guys like Brian Reynolds and O'Neal Cruz who hit the ball a lot, and I got to run a lot. And I'm walking, like, hey, pitch walk. Good job, coach. Oh, shoot, I got to run now.
Oh, now we got to get going.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you ability on base 3 times. You got to run. You got to run. And then over a span of a full season and just DHing, it's hard, man. It's one thing if you still playing the outfield. I was playing the outfield and my legs, keeping my legs moving. You can go a span of 2-3 games where you're not really running. You look back and go, man, in my last 10 plate appearances, I haven't really had to run. And now you lead off and it's like, bam, double down the line. Now you got to go. That's difficult.
That is so good that you brought that up because we've been talking the whole week about the Devers situation.
Yeah.
Bregman, them telling Devers, well, you probably go to DH. That man's a youth. He's almost young enough to be your son.
Yeah.
Like, could a player transition to that? And then my argument was he can't transition out of it and go back to third if Bregman opts out after a good year. Could somebody do that? Could somebody transition back, or would that be tougher than people think?
Maybe in the infield, I would say you'd probably be able to do it.
Not the outfield.
I don't think so in the outfield. You can, but it's gonna be more challenging because you gotta. Man, I panic now. Like I'm doing this, and then they're like, "Hey, you got your glove?" Like, obviously, yeah, I have it.
It's not broken in.
Yeah, but I got it. Yeah. I ordered it this year.
It's got plastic on it.
Yeah, it's in there. But what do you want? We need you. Can you go to right field? All right. I panic because I haven't been out there. Like last year, we played the game. I was in right field. I panicked the entire game because I was like, man, I haven't done this in a while. It's weird. Like and then you're on your feet. It's just it's a lot, but. I think you can do it. Give it a season, yeah, you can do it. But 2 seasons, 3, nah, it's going to be a lot harder.
What about Trout?
Yeah.
So Trout's the guy, right? So Trout, everyone wants to see Trout healthy.
Yeah.
So they're taking him out of center, putting him in right.
Yeah.
Should they just say, you know what, Mike, we love you, but it's DH time for you?
Yep.
And you think he'd be able to stay healthy enough to get 500, 600 plate appearances?
He can if he says I'm not going to be the 2014, 15, 16 Trout. Like, I'm not going to be that same guy because he will because I was there. You tussle with, but I can run hard down the line. I can hustle double. I can steal bags. I'm still going to be that same person. But plain and simple, no. You can be the same person, but in a different aspect. Maybe you're not stealing 20 bags. Maybe you're stealing 10. But maybe you're not getting that hustle double, and it's late in the game, and you guys are up or down 5.
So, okay, I always say this, and people don't listen to me when I tell them this. The biggest misconception in baseball is every player runs 100% down the line to first base every at bat. When you hit a ground ball and you hit a fly ball. Now you give a good effort, 70%. No, when you sniff one, you're like,
yeah,
oh, I get a hit, you go, right? But the other times, you're going 70, 80% just because you have to save yourself. When you're playing 150-plus games a year, you can't go 100%. And then as you get older, you realize, okay, I got to back it off to a point where I don't hurt myself.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I always train. I train fast, so I would, first 10 years, I ran. I was 85 to 100%, and most times 100%, like down the line, because I felt like if he bobbles, I have a chance to be saved, or I want to at least scare him to the fact where he feels like I got to get rid of this, and maybe he makes an error. So I did use that to my advantage, but over time, and it was more DH. Once I started DHing, I was like, man, I can't give it 100% because I might blow out. You
don't want that.
You don't want to do that. So yeah, you have to know yourself and know, man, today may not be the day where I need to be running hard every single at bat. No, ease into it, chill out.
How many more you got?
I don't know. I think I'll see how this year goes. See how it plays out. Body holds up well. Team does well. Maybe there's something in there that's like, yeah, I want to keep going. So, but we'll see. I don't know. 2-1, 1-2.
Would you coach?
See.
Would you coach?
I don't
manage
know.
afterwards.
My
coach,
kids.
Coach my kids. Think if you're the manager, if something happens with Shelton, it's not here anymore. Whatever that is, and Bob Nutting calls you up and says, Coach, we need you to manage the team. Then your kids can come here every day.
Mm-hmm.
Maria, your wife, can just say, Andrew, you got them, and you put them in the kids' room and let them run wild for however long you're here. And then they get to be around you still.
Stressful.
Stressful.
It's stressful.
You ain't got no grades yet. You got just a lot of just for men to put in there.
Yeah, that is stressful. Managing is stressful.
Okay, how about this? You take the home games. I'll be the manager, or I'll be the manager, and DK will be the manager on the road. It'll be the first ever split managerial jobs.
I'll manage from at home. Can you manage from at home?
Zoom?
Yeah, can you do that?
Just call
you work from home and manage? Hey.
Just have a camera on you.
Have it right there.
DK can just look at the camera and be like, I know that sign.
Yeah, the little robot people they have walking around at rental car companies and stuff.
Have a McCutchen robot
just sitting there in the dugout. I'm just chilling, eating popcorn.
He would look like the Under Armour statue in Dick's Sporting Goods too.
Oh yeah, please.
The biggest
You got it. Just please, BJ. I want to just have the body of Mike's. I can't call it Mike. Giancarlo Stanton. Can't have that body. Just have the robot and the iPad face. I'll do it then.
Okay. All right. I got to ask you because fans are asking about this. So, are you and Cam Newton friends right now? You and Cam Newton friends right now? Because I'm proud of you. You clap back at him. He said, come on. The WNBA is more popular than baseball. Come on.
That's a tough tag.
Come on, man.
Yeah, that was a tough tag. End of the day, you just gotta stay in your lane, man.
I agree.
Just stay in your lane. I know some stuff about football. I did play it, but I still don't know enough.
Wait, would you guys have been teammates? No,
no,
because he was there about the same. He was close,
there.
right?
Yeah, he was a little after.
Was he? Because what year did you graduate high school?
05.
Oh, okay. Because he was there Tebow years, so 09.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I know enough. I know some stuff, but not enough to speak on it.
Yeah.
From that perspective, I don't know enough. So I'd be quiet about it. If someone asks me something about it, I'll just give them hard cold facts. There's nothing I'm gonna go past the facts.
You don't got any cold NFL takes?
I have no cold NFL takes.
Who's your team?
I watch the Steelers.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't grow up a Steeler fan at Fort Meade.
I didn't, but I also didn't grow up a Jags fan.
What about
I
Bucks?
didn't grow up a Bucks fan. They did win one of the years, but I never grew up a Bucks fan. Back when it was orange and white, I didn't
have time for that.
And then Dolphins, I didn't watch it. My dad was not my dad, but a lot of people in the family at that time obviously was a Cowboys fan. And I didn't want to be on the bandwagon being a Cowboys fan. So I just kind of watched football. And I didn't go to my first professional game until I got to Pittsburgh. And
how fun are the Steelers games?
Oh, my goodness.
In Pittsburgh, how fun are those games?
Man, they're so fun, man.
You got to get terrible towel. You up there waving the terrible towel?
The whole time. Man. Get into it, screaming and stuff. Man, I ain't never screamed like this in baseball. It's crazy.
Would you wear football jersey? Would you wear another grown man's jersey?
Yeah.
Which one would you wear? What Steeler?
What Steeler? So, obviously, like, you got Big Ben, right? I got a Big Ben jersey. I got a Palomalu jersey.
But the Steelers need a big win. The Steelers need a big win, and you got to wear your go-to jersey so that the black and yellow can win the game. What's your go-to jersey?
And they have to win.
They have to win.
I don't want to get any Steelers fans mad. I don't want to get any Steelers fans mad because they're going to tell, why you don't go with because they have to realize, guys, I'm like a 2010s fan. I'm not like a 50s, 60s, 70s fan, 80s fan. I'd probably go Franco Harris.
Okay.
It's a nice one.
He did something all right. He had a
I'll go
couple
Franco
big
Harris
plays in his career.
Yeah.
What about current Steelers? You're not going Russell Wilson, right?
Russ, cool dude, but he's not going to be there next season. He did
Justin Fields.
He did some cool stuff. Obviously Fields is going to be there. Going to take
Watt.
over.
What about Watt?
Watt's that man. Watt's that dude, bro.
What's the big nose tackle guy's name? Hayward.
Cam is the man, bro. I like Cam a lot, bro. Like Cam gets after it. Funny the story about Cam. I was at this place with my kids, and he was there with his family too. And I didn't know he was there. And all I hear was, "You're going straight to bed." And I turned around, bro. Y'all ever heard a lion like roar at a zoo? That's what it sounded like. I was like, I am going to bed. I am. It was him. I was like, oh man, bro. I told him that story. I saw him, bro. He told me all about it, but
oh man,
I was like, oh my, yeah, okay, yes sir.
While we're on this, because I know we're supposed to not talk about other sports, but Tomlin, he wins every year. He doesn't finish under 500.
Yeah,
I know they don't make it far in the playoffs.
Yeah,
but they get there.
Yep, they do.
Right. So does he deserve more credit, or is all the Pittsburgh fans slapping at him? Are they off? Or are they?
I mean, I think the fan base sees product on the field that is good enough to go a little further than they've gone. So I think that's why he gets all that. He gets the bad rap, and they don't make it past the first round of playoffs. When they do make it to the playoffs, so you get to the point. People don't realize. I don't say they don't realize, but it's hard to do what he's done. No one else, I don't believe, has done something like that, right? So you have to give that credit. You have to give him credit for that, at least that. But I get it. You want your team to go further. You want them to win. But who's to say that if they got rid of Tomlin and someone else came in, and who's to say that person is going to take them there, right? So I give him his credit, man. He's had them above 500. He's got them to the playoffs. They just don't get past it. They got to figure out how to do it. So
he's been winning since we were in AAA together. You went to the big leagues, won. Now you're back, and he's still winning.
Still winning.
Just keeps winning.
He wins. They obviously don't win at all. It ain't that easy. It's not easy.
It's not easy. Only one does.
Only one.
And there was a guy that was winning all of them. But
yeah,
we're gonna thank you.
Hey, we're out with the old, in with the new.
Out with the old. The next prospect, the next touching. And by the way, I got a bat at home, the Mizuno bat.
Oh man!
I realized your sister's not even on it. I need you to sign that, John. Back from 09. I can't let you hold it though because you might swing it.
Yeah, I might. That bat was nice.
That was nice.
It's like 28 ounces.
So quick, too. Just quick wrists. Kutch, appreciate you having.
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
you coming on.
Yes, sir.
We'll be right back. FT.
I loved covering Junior. He's a good kid. He's an energetic kid. He supports his teammates. He's not a selfish teammate, at least from what I saw. Obviously, there can be other opinions out there, I'm sure, about everybody. But from what I saw, he's a good teammate, and he brings energy to that team. And that Winter League championship, when he hit that go-ahead 454-foot home run in the top of the ninth, that's Junior in a nutshell, right? He has the capability of performing in those big moments. He has the capability of being an elite hitter. You know, he said recently that he's targeting 30 home runs this season and that he just wants a ring. Obviously, everybody wants a ring, but I think at such a young age, having some of those lofty goals is awesome. And then obviously during Winter League, he got to pick Albert Pujols' brain. And that had to be fun for him. You know, he told the media the other day that he was always asking him, what am I doing right? What am I doing wrong? And that it was a daily thing for him. So he's coming into camp with a lot of confidence, with a lot more knowledge. He came to camp a week earlier than he was required to. So that's pretty cool to see. And I'm a big Junior Caminero fan after covering him. And my favorite, and the thing about Junior, you guys, is how much, I know this can sound like a cliche phrase sometimes, but how much he loves the game. He loves the game of baseball. I remember when I was doing an Apple TV game last year, he told me that Manny Machado was like his childhood idol. So I'm doing an interview with Junior about Manny Machado and the fact that he was going to play on the same field as Machado that game against the Padres. He starts crying, like tears streaming down his face because he was so overtaken with just joy that he was going to be on the same field as his childhood idol. And then after the game, they arranged for him to go meet Machado and they exchanged jerseys and all of that. And it was one of the coolest moments of the season for me because sometimes you go to the park every day and you forget, hey, this is the coolest job in the entire world. You know, you're caught up in what you have to do. But a moment like that happens and you're just like, oh, damn, this is really what it's all about. Like a young Junior Caminero looking at what he's doing now would just be in tears. And that was such a cool moment. So big Junior Caminero fan. I expect huge things from him this season. And I think we're going to see it.
All right, we're back here at Pirates camp in Bradenton, Florida with Bubba Chandler. Pirates super prospect? I mean, we just had the oldest guy in the world here, Andrew McCutchen. Now we got one of the younger players here. And we had a discussion. He's from Athens, Georgia. Everyone out there knows what I feel about Athens and Georgia. So I'm sorry that you're from there. It's a cool town, but not my favorite place on earth, Kratz. But what's spring been like for you? What'd you just tell us? And you're like, wow, this is different.
Yeah, they got me pitching every 3 days, which is, something I'm not necessarily used to, but not complaining about it. So,
why would they have you pitching every 3 days?
I don't know. Maybe trying to give me some looks, I guess. Yeah.
That is a good thing.
Yeah.
That is a good problem because maybe they think you dominated in your short stint in AAA, and they're like, we know what good pitching is. Look at our starting rotation.
Yeah.
We see a spot for you.
Oh, yeah. Not trying to think anything like that, but yeah, we do. There's one thing that we have, and that is that's pitching, man. We do it the right way over here. And, from the big leagues to lowest level of the minor leagues, we got guys everywhere. So it's really fun to watch.
He looks like Skeens a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Why maybe it's the poorly defined mustache.
Yeah.
I mean,
I get that a lot.
But I mean, you do have the hair. Yeah. I mean, you do have. I mean, in the face, you do look like him.
There's been a couple times traveling this off season at the airport. People were like, "You Paul Skeens?" I'm like, no, I'm not.
You should just say yes.
I wish. I've said it. So me and my girlfriend went to visit Paul and live in Baton Rouge, and we were coming back and we flew into Atlanta. I had my glove with me. And some people walked up to us, didn't ask anything, like, hey, are you Paul, are you Livy? They're like, oh my God, can we get a picture, please? And we were like, yeah, sure. And they're like people walking away like, no way, we just met Paul and Livy. And I'm like,
Do you ever just
say disappointed? Them? No, but they'd be disappointed.
But now, do you think they went home and showed their friends, and their friend was like, "That's not."
No, it's not them. No.
By the way, Paul Skeens is bigger than you are.
Yeah,
you're a big fella.
That's what I don't get. It's like people always ask me like, "How is he?" And I'm like, "Dude, great guy." And they're like, "Hey, y'all are pretty similar." I'm like, 50 pounds and 3 inches. It's a big difference, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Maybe you'll still grow. You're only, what, 22?
Yeah, he's 22 as well, but maybe he's still growing.
Maybe he's done growing.
Yeah.
He's done growing, and you haven't, the facial hair will fill in.
Yeah, we're getting there. We're trying.
What does it feel like to be in camp knowing you have a shot to make the team? Because Jared Jones was sitting in this chair last year, didn't know, and you saw he made the team.
Yeah, again, you try not to think about that stuff, but it's always on your mind. It's a blessing. Pirates are a great organization. It's a team that drafted me, and would love to get to the big leagues as quick as I could. And I'm excited for hopefully when that time comes. But I think about it, but I try not to.
What have they said to you? Do they say, if you do make the team, it's obviously if everything goes right, you make the team.
Yeah.
They want you to be a starter because pitching every third day doesn't put you in line to pitch every fifth day in the season. Or do they want you to be a bulk reliever? What's their role that they haven't talked to you about it?
I don't know. They haven't really said much. It's more of, come out here and compete. And, if my plan the rest of the camp is to pitch on 3 days, rest, I don't mind it at all. Arm feels great. Put on some good weight this off season and don't really mind it. So I love it.
By the way, producer lady just sent I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah.
A picture of
Hey,
you.
Allie.
I mean, listen, I could see why somebody would come up to you and explain
it happens. Yeah, Allie.
Halloween. Next Halloween.
Halloween.
You dress up
I dress
as Paul Skeens.
You wear his jersey, walk around the airport.
I will.
You get a lot of candy.
Yeah, hell yeah. That'd be funny.
Oh, well. All right, so Bradenton, big league camp, chance to make the team.
Yeah.
If you do make, again, I love talking ifs. If you do make the team,
ifs, yeah.
Mom, dad, everyone, be there. Who's the first person? If Derek Shelton calls you in the office and says, Bubba, you made the team, who's the first person you're calling?
Call my dad.
Will there be tears?
There would be a lot of tears.
From you or from him?
Probably more from me. Him would be like, damn, finally, it's been on this.
Oh, man. Long, hard road, 22, made it finally.
Nah, just from all the years of, travel ball and stuff, finally paid off. I feel like it'd probably be a little relief for him. I put a lot in and my kid put a lot into it. He finally accomplished what he wanted to accomplish. But, yeah, I'd probably call one of my buddies and just be like, hey, I'm here. Sorry about it,
My bad.
Yeah.
Sorry it took me so long, Dad.
Sorry it didn't happen when I was 20.
Yeah.
Now I'm 22. What are the conversations like in the clubhouse?
Just there's a lot of little things that, young guys like me and, guys, this has been my second big league camp, but, there's a lot of things that are behind the scenes that, rookies need to know and young guys need to know. And, guys like Mitch, even Paul, do a really good job on the pitching side, letting me, Thomas Harrington, who's thrown today, Anthony Solomito, just our young pitchers, hey, this is how it's supposed to go. This is how it's supposed to be ran. And they do a great job. So,
you miss hitting?
Yeah. I just had this conversation at lunch. Yeah, kind of. Every time I'm here, it brings back sweet memories of striking out a lot. But
Kratz too.
Yeah.
I was just saying, same.
My last at bat did land where our catcher, or a little in front of our catcher, is though. Here, home run, last at bat ever. And then they said you're done. So, but yeah, this place sucks on the hitting side for me. But
it made you a pitcher.
Yeah.
Seems like that really turned out poorly.
Yeah.
Seems like it was.
Man, just think you would have maybe made it at 23 if you were still hitting.
Yeah.
No more punch outs, and you don't have to deal with the stupid hitting coaches. Who's a better hitter though? Have you and Paul?
Oh, fuck.
Have you and Paul had have you had you and Skeens have a home run derby? Would the team allow it? Because just saying, he didn't do it in professional baseball.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. I mean, I always say that when anyone asks, I do have, Jared's in this conversation too. He hit in high school, but
high school.
High school, exactly. Exactly. It's I do have 5 homers in professional baseball. Most of them in rookie ball. 1 in affiliate, not bad, but yeah, I don't not want to be humble, but I'm a better hitter than Paul.
Wow. Yes.
I was just saying I've done it at a higher level. So
100%.
If you guys faced
Same with
each
your
other,
chest.
though,
I love
if
it.
you guys faced each other, who has a better chance of getting a hit off the other one? If you had to face Skeens, because I'd rake him. I'm just saying I would own him if I faced him. Because I'm lefty and that splinker was my bat speed at 96. But if you had to face him, and he faced you, say you both get 10 at bats off each other.
So if he could eliminate one pitch, I think I would hold my own. Anything going away from me, like if he eliminated the splinker, I can't hit anything going away from me. Nothing. Anything coming in, I'm fine. So if he eliminated that, I'd probably get a knock. I give myself one hit. It's not something pissed on. It's more of just like a choopy, you know. Those count too.
True.
Him, gosh, I don't know. He's right-handed, so I would just exploit him. But yeah.
No, I like that, but like eliminate a
We got to
pitch.
stand up there play the anthem. We got to go.
Oh, we got the anthem.
Yeah.
57. Are you singing it?
I wish. I can sing a little bit.
You would sing the anthem.
I would sing the anthem.
You and Adam
Remember that.
Wainwright?
What's up?
You and Adam Wainwright? Did you see Wainwright sing the anthem a couple years ago? All right. Oh,
All right, I'll take it.
buddy.
I'll take it for the last
We're gonna
minute of
go
the show.
Pay homage to America.
I got you guys. I got you guys for this minute. Yeah, you guys honor America. Bring it back to me. All right, FT fam. Great show. I'm exhausted. I worked my butt off. But thank you to Bubba Chandler, Andrew McCutchen, Derek Shelton, Tommy Pham for joining us. And we've got really, really great schedules lined up for the rest of the week. Yankees camp tomorrow. Cardinals camp on Thursday. Friday, we're hitting Mets camp. You know what to do. Please send us DMs on Instagram or wherever you are. Send us DMs or comments about who you would like us to try and request to speak with. Okay? There you go. There's the schedule. And then, yes, we're on the road for most of the month. We'll give you the team by team next week, later this week when everything's confirmed. But thank you to the Pirates, their PR, the staff behind the scenes for helping us to put everything together today and be at camp there. But Yankees, Cardinals, Mets the rest of the week, FT fam. We will see you on Wednesday.